Astronomio gweźna drogo, tysiąc maka wielkie wiedzi. Please forgive my Polish. We're here today to talk about my Copernicus movement from To Shiver the Sky. It's the 5th movement on the album, and it deals with basically staring at the sky and wondering at the stars and the constellations and mankind sort of examining his role in the universe, right? The previous movement was, of course, Dante, where, Dante had sort of laid out the map of the heavens, in hell, heaven and hell and purgatory, right? Now we're dealing with sort of more earthly concerns, man on earth staring at the sky as a navigational device. So Copernicus, of course, was one of the fathers of modern astronomy. And we've used a text where he basically proclaims that astronomy is the mother of all sciences. As was the practice back then for anything scholarly. He wrote it in Latin, right? But a hardcore Polish fan named Marek reached out to a friend of his who does translations, and he sort of poeticized it as well. Astronomy, you're a starry path, you are the mother of all knowledge. Even if a person is poor, they have the whole fine universe as a home. Astronomy, you are studying beautiful skies which belong to you. Your dignity is so great that all earthly troubles are naught. Here is the original quote from Copernicus. So he basically says, "And what is more beautiful than the sky, which after all embraces everything beautiful? Therefore, if the dignity of the sciences is to be judged according to their subject, then the most incomparable one will be the one which they call astronomy." One of the fun, unique things that I've done with this particular movement is I've actually mapped out the constellations in the score of the piece. There's a very pointillistic texture in the middle section of the piece where the instruments of the orchestra come in and give little pinpoints of sound, as if stars, were kind of fading in and twinkling and that sort of thing. And when you connect them all together, they actually map out constellations. Pegasus, Cygnus the swan, Draco the dragon, Phoenix, Aquila the eagle. Basically all the constellations that have to do with flight in some way are represented on the score pages. So it's a bit of an Easter egg for the musicians out there who will read the score and look at it. Listeners will appreciate the sort of like the audio points of light, the little pointillistic texture that I'm creating. But those who look at the sheet music will see that there's actually, in fact, a pattern to all of this. Let's say Aquila constellation. Like, I would love to layer images that, like this sort of thing, right, on the actual score. Or this, even better, like have kind of like old-timey looking outlines just drawn onto the score. I sort of think that would look fantastic. That's something that I always wanted from the get-go, like this, I wanted to build my harmonies around this idea of a cascading sequence of thirds. You can go all sorts of ways with this. So here we go. A chord, D over A, B minor over A, and then here we go, A flat over A, right? Okay, now here, this is the 5 chord, the E over A. We've still got our A pedal, but watch what I start doing here. So see these notes here? The G sharp and the B. I keep this minor third going, descending, and this creates the harmonies for the next section. And I make some slight changes here. I go da, da. But what I sort of loved was this sort of like middle voice descending thing. Right? So if you approach this from a harmonic analysis perspective, this is a giant 1-4-5-1 chord progression stretched over 5 minutes. That's all it is, 1-4-5-1. But it takes 5 minutes to do it. And here's the proof in the pudding. 2.5 minutes of A pedal, and then this middle section with the piano solo. We get to our 4 chord. That brings us to our 5 chord, also the lowest point orchestrationally in the piece, right? The E's in the double basses. When you get to your big moment, that's probably when you want to get to your highest note and your lowest note simultaneously, right?
Better?